Doubles and coffee, good morning. The issue is not whether you like Gary Griffith, you find he was right, he talked too much, he don't talk enough, he look good, you don't like him, or if you like him, or these are not the issues. The issues in this matter are very clear. One, the separation of powers and the rule of law. Two, political interference in independent institutions leading to the total collapse of the highest offices in the land and the total collapse of the Police Service Commission and the danger to the population of being here in a period without a commissioner of police whilst under a state of emergency, yet crime is rampant, murders, robbery, kidnapping, carjacking. These are serious issues. And when a prime minister has admitted that he weaponized certain institutions to simply remove one human being from a position that he may or may not deserve based on the merit list, the interview, we don't know what happened. But the issue here is that every citizen under the Constitution must be allowed in this country to apply for and to move freely in a democratic society without hindrance towards the opportunity to succeed. Gary Griffith wanted a second term. Keith Rowley did not want Gary. He lost confidence in Gary, whatever that means. If you start at that point, it is not for a prime minister to have confidence or no confidence in the independent institution of the Commissioner of Police. Think about how ridiculous can Keith Rowley say whether he has confidence in the DPP and therefore write letters to the Judicial Legal Services Commission to say that he has lost confidence in the DPP and write 3 letters and then talk to the president and ensure that our list that was duly signed by the majority of the Police Service Commission or the Judicial Legal Services Commission in this case does not go, so that he could put a DPP in office that he wants, that he likes, that is beholden to him. Look at his cabinet, how it operates. They all are beholden and afraid of him. He does not even tell them good morning, and some of them are still there bowing and so on. The only thing protecting us from full-blown dictatorship, which we are nearly in the throes of, are these independent institutions, and the only 2 left standing is the DPP, and it's tottering because it's under attack, and the judiciary, and it's tottering because it's under attack by Keith Christopher Rowley. Rowley weaponized the system against Gary Griffith. Whether you like Gary Griffith or not is irrelevant. If he can weaponize the entire state and the 4th estate against a human being to prevent them from getting a job, which by all accounts and appearances and reasonableness tests that he looked like he would get, then we are in a dictatorship. That's why there's independence. That's why there's separation of powers. That's why there's the Constitution. So Keith Rowley lost confidence. So he says, we should say, who cares? The Commissioner of Police is not there for you. He's not there for you to cheer on. He's not a Nicholas Paul, a national athlete who you need to cheer on. He's not the netball girls. He's not the Soca Warriors. He's not the West Indies cricket team. Whether you have confidence in him or not is totally irrelevant, because you could lose confidence in him for many reasons. And from what we have seen in the track record of Rowley, if he lost confidence in Gary Griffith, it's most likely that Gary Griffith was doing his job properly, which is to be independent and to fight crime. So the mere fact that a prime minister is discussing confidence or lack of confidence in a commissioner of police is totally and wholly irrelevant. But in this case, it's actually very dangerous, because he then boasts and tells you openly about letters and interventions and tries to change the definition of misbehavior in public office to interface and letters written to a chair of a commission who in herself brought the office into disrepute. Why? Because the person who was interfering and misbehaving held some sort of magical power over her, because she also took instructions from this person and was appointed to this person and was receiving a stipend from this person and receiving instructions from this person and was appointed by this P&M person. And that's the problem. Independence needs a position such as soon as Rowley wrote Bliss C. Prasad the first letter a year ago, she should have immediately written back to him, rebuking him and saying, sir, with all due respect, this is not on, this is inappropriate. If there are any issues with any individual, the relevant authorities will provide me with information. I would write or request information on any criminal activity from the PCA, the Bureau of Standards, or the DPP. It is not your place to interact with me. No, she didn't have to write it rude like that. She could have put it in nice, sweet language. You all will know better than me because I'm not a diplomat. But the point of it is, from that initial attempt, he should have been put in his place, but he was not. He wrote again and again. He interfered and he interfaced. Do you know what is very interesting? Circulating on social media now is a letter from the president to Bliss C. Prasad. Now read it carefully, you know. Don't get confused. That has nothing to do with the substantive post. That has to deal with the acting post of Commissioner of Police. Now, according to the president in her paid announcement, paid for with your taxpayer money, she said the substantive list for Commissioner of Police was delivered to her on August 11th and then immediately withdrawn that day, whatever that means, right? That's the English they use it. Now, the position is clearly that once it had reached, it could not be withdrawn, okay? The Constitution is clear on that, Section 123(4). But let's follow this now. So the next day, Bliss C. Prasad, the chairperson of the Police Service Commission, without majority support of the other commissioners, brought in and supplied to the president a list for acting commissioner. Now think how weird that is. We just have this list. All four of us agree on this merit list for the substantive post. We coming in under the deadline. We go and we deliver it to President's house. Something happens at President's house on that August 11th and it's allowed to be withdrawn. And then the next day, the chairperson of the Police Service Commission on her own writes a letter to the president giving nominations for acting commissioner of police. Why would you need acting if the list was there already? If the list was ready, willing, able to roll. But anyway, and the list was received. That's just an aside. But the main point here, to all you citizens, put yourselves, in this case, in Gary's shoes. If you're OWTU, if you're a unionist, if you're a teacher, put yourself in his shoes. If you're a TNTech worker, WASA worker, put yourself in his shoes. If you're a CPEP worker, if you're a student who would like GATE, put yourself in his shoes. If you're someone who would like to apply for a job at any ministry, put yourself in his shoes. That the political directorate could interfere, influence, and determine whether you, a qualified citizen, will not get the job. Think about what happened to Jawala Rambaran at the central bank. Think about all these independent institutions that are being infiltrated by political operatives. Think that Rowley is boasting that the National Security Council was weaponized against Gary Griffith. That a report was requested from two individuals that have no locus standi, no authority, no constitutional authority to do so. A brief was created that created a couture and hearsay, and somehow that rose to the level of evidence in the minds of a former Court of Appeal justice and the president to make her go against the Constitution, Section 123(4). Not an attack on the president. The president erred. For whatever reason, only she could tell you why she erred. Why her eyes and ears and intelligence was pushed to the side for her to make wrong decisions. The National Security Council was weaponized against Gary Griffith to ensure that he does not get the post of Commissioner of Police. Do you know how dangerous this is? And if you don't like Gary, take out Gary out of it. any human being who was qualified and was going due to their track record, experience, their performance, their creativity, their scoring, their interview, and they were in line to receive a job to impact the nation and the social fabric of this country and to be a patriot, that they were denied their job because somebody ain't like them, and somebody ain't like them who did not have the wherewithal, the knowledge, and the respect for the Constitution to keep and respect the rule of law, the separation of powers, and wanted to become a total dictator that determined who could serve their country, when, where, and how. And then he throws Ethelbert in the mix because it's clear that the Minister of National Security also liaised with the Police Service Commission on August 26th, 27th, and 30th. And now, if you all think back, Rowley even weaponized the media about a year ago. Hindsight is 2020 with new information and confession from Rowley. He said a year ago he lost confidence in Gary Griffith. Wasn't it about a year ago that the media started to dig up and go hard at Gary Griffith with football and this issue and that issue? And today we are seeing, oh, some contracts went up and spending. These may be valid stories, but it's the zeal with which the mass media was weaponized against one human being, when another human being, the Prime Minister Keith Rowley, lost confidence in them. Is that a coincidence, or do you find that dangerous? The media should go after every story. At the same time, during this time, there were stories of recusals, rentals, loans being taken from ministers' brothers, Porsches being sold without checks. There were contracts being given out to wives of ministers and family, poor procurement, 210 recusals, COVID-19 death, porous borders, Brazilian variant, collapse, criminal negligence in the health sector. But yet, the mass media had time to take instructions from someone to weaponize their effort estate against another individual. Again, forget if you like Gary. Imagine if they could do that to Gary, they could do that to anybody, any group, any organization, to get Keith Rowley to get what he wants. This is very dangerous. And then they weaponize the parliament and have the speaker pressing her button and muting the opposition. And then the speaker saying the most ridiculous, retarded thing in history, that pounding on a table could affect the digitization, the microphones and the audio in the parliament. What abject nonsense. Any human being who's in the digitization world and the audio world and the computer world, technology world, would know that that is abject, total nonsense. And on top of that, she said that stupidity, and then it was repeated in the Prime Minister's press conference with arrogance after that the speaker was not pressing any button and she wasn't muting. It was the pounding on the table that affected the microphones. And these are the people promoting digitization in Trinidad and Tobago in the 2021-2022 budget. Are they serious? Do they feel that we are complete idiots? Well, we are to have these people mamagaying us. They weaponize the parliament, no debate. Lawyers are now coming out and saying the guidelines were illegal. They did not have discussion. They did not allow you to hear what we had to say. Then they come to say that we are a disgrace. It is a disgrace for a Prime Minister to put a president in such a position. It is a disgrace that the president has not resigned yet, because the office has been dragged down into the mud, into the gutter, and any self-respecting president would have resigned even if she did nothing. But she was wrong. Read section 123.4. It's quite simple, but we're in a constitutional crisis and we're in the throes of a dictatorship. The Delta variant is now overwhelming us. I thought we were number one in the world. We have bad road, bad health, bad education, bad sport, bad culture, bad everything going on. No education, no differently able grants, late payment, no business, no foreign exchange, businesses shutting down, and now division between vaccinated and unvaccinated. That's where we reach in this country. And this clown has the time to weaponize the entire independent institutions of this country just to get rid of Gary. But the people, 71% say Gary doing a good job. So Rowley's telling 71% of y'all go and scratch, hold your in shan.